Welcome back to the Rich Life Diaries podcast. In today's episode, I am going to share with you how to be younger, richer, and hotter. So let's get into it. Welcome to Rich Life Diaries, the podcast where we talk real strategies for creating abundance, building a business you love, and designing a life that actually feels good. If you're done playing small and ready to create your dream life, you're in the right place. I know the title of this podcast might sound a little bit superficial, and that's okay, but stay with me here. So basically, I am 50 years young. I'm a self-made millionaire, and I never used to look like this. And I'll show you some photos on the screen so you can see what I used to look like. So I truly believe, regardless of who you are, and what you're doing right now, you really can learn how to become younger, richer, and hotter. And I want to share all my secrets on this podcast episode today on how to do that. First up, younger, how to be younger. Now, I'm not saying that you should change your age. I definitely don't want to change my age. I'm very happy at being 50. I wouldn't want to be 20 again, even if you paid me to. So I'm good with my age. This isn't about trying to be younger. This is about a mindset shift. What I mean by that is everyone says that I look younger than what I am, and that's fine. But I truly believe the reason why I look younger than what I am is because in my mind, I don't think or act like a normal 50-year-old. So I have the mindset of probably maybe a 30-year-old, I don't know, but I don't ever say those words out loud. Oh, I feel old. Oh, I look old. Oh, I don't talk about menopause or any of those things. And it's not that I'm living in denial about anything. I'm not. I just don't give that stuff airtime. I try to look at everything in a positive light, including myself. And I truly have always believed that, the older I get, the better I get. So I don't have negative attachments to age. And I just truly believe that age is just a mindset and you look as old as you feel. So some people might not like me saying that, but I truly believe there's a lot in that. Like, as I said, I don't feel 50. I'm not in denial by my age. I don't care. I'm stating it very loudly and proudly here. I'm 50. That's okay. But I don't feel 50. And I think there's a lot in that. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, well, that's great. I want to feel and look younger. How do I do that? Well, a couple of tips. Surround yourself with young-minded people. So a lot of my friends and even my family members, actually, they're all pretty young at heart. I don't have any old at heart people. And those people, the ones that are always complaining, as I said before, about, oh, I'm so old, oh, I'm this, and they're always talking negatively about age. You don't want to hang out with those people. You want to hang out with young-minded and fun people. And you really do become the people you spend your time with. So I think this is a really big key into staying more youthful, is surround yourself with young, vibrant people. And another thing I would say is, look, if it depends on how you show up in the world, but if you want to look younger and feel younger, you probably need to maybe dress younger. My partner actually just shared a photo of this girl that he knew, and he showed me a photo of what she looked like when he met her when she was 20 and what she looks like now at 40. And I couldn't even believe it was the same woman. It was wild. She literally looked, I know she's only 40, but she looked about 60. And I was looking at the photo and I said, yeah, I can see why, because she's dressing like an old lady. She had this gross old lady dress on, something my grandma wouldn't even wear. She had those Mrs. Doubtfire glasses, like those gold round glasses. She cut all of her hair off really short. She just made herself look old. And I just thought, God, if I could get my hands on her, I would give her a makeover and I'd knock 10 years off her easily just by making a few little tweaks, So I think if you're wanting to feel and look younger, just be conscious around how you're showing up in the world in, your appearance and are you dressing older? I've got friends of mine that, over the years I've loved to give friends makeovers when they've, asked me to help. I'm like gladly like, yeah, I love a makeover. And literally, I feel so confident that I can make someone look 5 to 10 years younger just by changing the way that they dress or how they style their hair or the makeup that they wear. All those things make a huge difference. So that's sort of my tips on how to be or feel younger. Have you ever wanted to live life on your terms? You can have financial and time freedom with your own e-commerce store. My business, Clickstart Digital, helps people just like you set up an e-com store from scratch and launch it in 30 days. To find out more, visit us online, clickstartdigital.com.au. So moving on, how to get richer. Now, the easiest way to get richer is to start a business, because businesses can make people a lot of money, and most business owners I know are very wealthy. So that's probably the first thing I would recommend. Now, I know it sounds easy just to say, oh, just start a business. Now, obviously, my other business, Clickstart Digital, helps people set up e-commerce businesses. So check that out if you're sitting there thinking, okay, how do I start a business and where do I go and how do I start one? I have a solution for that. So check out clickstartdigital.com.au. So that's probably the first thing I'd recommend is starting a business. It's probably the easiest, quickest way to wealth. You can make a lot of money in business. The problem when you have a job or you work for someone, your income's always capped. So to get richer, it's kind of always going to be a bit harder depending on what kind of job that you do, of course. But usually with most jobs, there's like a glass ceiling as to how much money you can make. So if you're wanting to create more wealth, definitely look at starting a business. That's probably the easiest way. Other sort of suggestions around creating wealth and becoming richer is obviously investing. So investing your money wisely. And if you don't make a lot of money to invest, that's okay. Starting small is better than not starting at all. So you can check out Vanguard. You can buy ETFs on Vanguard and start investing now and just reinvest any money that you make, so which is called compounding interest. So you can start small and, over a 20, 30-year period, if you start investing now, you can actually make quite a lot of money, long term. It's not a short-term thing, get rich overnight kind of thing. It's definitely a long-term strategy, investing in Vanguard ETFs. And read books like Warren Buffett's book on investing. Rich Dad, Poor Dad's another really good book. And a really good beginner's book on sort of explaining finance and money is The Barefoot Investor. So that's a really good book to start with. So maybe start with The Barefoot Investor and then buy Warren Buffett's book and read that book after. Those guys have some really good advice on what to invest and how to manage your money and make money. So I definitely recommend checking those books out if you haven't already read those books. And if you're not sure about where to invest, I would highly recommend seeking out a financial advisor, a financial planner. Now, obviously, I'm not a financial planner or a financial advisor, so legally I cannot give, my advice or recommendations on what to invest in. But personally, I have invested some of my own money into Bitcoin, not the other cryptocurrencies, just Bitcoin. I was told years ago, just focus on Bitcoin. That's the safest cryptocurrency that you can invest in. As I said, I'm not giving financial advice here. I'm just sharing my experience of what I have personally invested in, and I've actually doubled my money in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin to me is a long-term strategy. So I'm not looking at trying to make a quick buck with it. I've put money into it and I'm leaving it there for 10 years. Yeah, as I said, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm just giving you my personal experiences on how to become richer. Moving on to how to get hotter. To be completely transparent, I never used to look like this. And you're probably thinking, oh, wow, that doesn't even look like you. And I know. I've manifested this. So I know some of you might be eye rolling right now going, oh God, here she goes talking about manifestation. It's not bullshit. This works. You've just seen the photos of what I used to look like and what I look like now. So if you're sitting there saying manifesting doesn't work, well, I can't help you. Manifesting does work. I haven't been given anything in my life, financially or otherwise, where I am right now. So as I said, I'm a self-made millionaire. I'm 50. I look like this. I manifested all of that, all of it. I manifested myself to get younger, richer, and hotter. And you can too. You just need to believe it. When you're wanting to turn up in the world and feel hotter, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about what looks you were born with or what looks you weren't born with. I'm talking about inner confidence and how you feel about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself and you're beautiful on the inside, that shows on the outside. And when you believe that, you will manifest that to be true. So you need to do the inner work on yourself. If you're not resonating with what I say and you're just thinking, what a load of crap, or I don't feel that way about myself, that's okay. You just need to do the inner work to get there. But you can get hotter. You can. Look at the photos I just shared. I did. You can too. And some other tips, probably circling back to what I was sharing before about being more youthful, give yourself a makeover or ask that friend that is really good with putting things together to help you choose or go shopping and buy some new clothes for yourself. I recently helped a girlfriend of mine on the Gold Coast. We did a little mini makeover, and oh my God, like seeing her bouncing around, 'cause she lives in my building. She emanates, she looks so beautiful. She looked beautiful before, but she looked, I don't know. I remember I used to see her walking around all the time, walking her dog and stuff. I don't know. It's just this sadness to her. And now that I've taken her shopping and we've bought all this new clothing and she looks amazing. But that beauty shines from the inside out. I can see she feels more confident in her own skin. And she's told me that, she sent me a lovely message after we went shopping and she said, how grateful she was and about how hasn't felt like this good in like 15 years and she feels like a woman again and all that sort of stuff. And it was just a simple 3-hour shopping trip we went on and she just bought some new clothes and I just helped her. I just said, yeah, that looks great on you. Know that. Yes, you look good in color. And now she's bouncing around and she looks amazing and gorgeous. And that's what I'm talking about. But, when I'm talking about getting hotter, it's just about having that inner confidence in yourself. It's not about what you look like and you have to look like a perfect Barbie doll to be hotter. No, that's a load of bullshit. We all look differently and we're all beautiful in our own way. And, I think as I said, if you want to get hotter, ask a friend to help you and take you shopping and give yourself a little makeover if you don't feel like that right now about yourself. So a final note on that is just take care in how you show up in the world. Take care in your appearance. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you that you're being superficial or being vain. That is a load of BS. You're not being superficial and you're not being vain. Taking care in your appearance is a good thing. You'll feel more confident, you'll show up better in the world, and more opportunities will fall into your lap, I guarantee you. And then this circles back to getting younger and richer, right? So you'll have more success in your life if you take more pride in your appearance. That's a fact. Don't look at becoming hotter as a negative thing or being vain. It's not. It's a positive thing, and it'll only bring more positive outcomes in your life. So that's my episode today on sharing my thoughts around how to be younger, richer, and hotter. I hope you found this episode useful. Make sure you subscribe to Rich Life Diaries podcast, and I look forward to seeing you back here in a couple of weeks.